हमारे साथ इस वक्त स्टूडियो में दो मेहमान भी मौजूद हैं। एक हमारे नौ मुबाय अहमदी हैं जो कि बज़ात ख़ुद स्वीडिश हैं, और एक हमारे मुरब्बी सिलसिला हैं यहाँ के जो अल्लाह के फ़ज़ल से वक्फ़ नौ भी हैं अल्लाह के फ़ज़ल से, और अभी ख़िदमत सर अंजाम दे रहे हैं स्टॉकहोम जमात में, स्वीडन में। तो हम दोनों को खुशामदीद कहेंगे और उनसे चंद बातें और चंद उनकी वाक़यात उनसे पूछेंगे। अस्सलाम वालेकुम सरमद साहब एंड अस्सलाम वालेकुम रब्बी साहब। Sarmad Ahmed Hanis Sahib and Murabbi Kashif Virk Sahib are with us. So dear audience, will just take it in English from here onwards. So Sarmad Sahib, I'll just start with you. You're at the 25th Jalsa Salana, Sweden, and how many Jalsas have you attended in Sweden before this?
I think this is my third or fourth in Sweden.
MashaAllah. Okay. And Murabbi Sahib, you are you were born here?
I was born here, yes, right, correct, in the city of Gothenburg, and Alhamdulillah, from the last 30 years I've been able to witness how Jamaat has developed from here.
MashaAllah, yes. From Gothenburg. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I guess when we were preparing some documents for the documentaries, when Huzur came here, it was revealed that Gothenburg was the first center, and I mean we built the mosque here, and but along with that, Stockholm, I guess, had played a very vital role in spreading the Ahmadiyya here in.
Geographically, Gothenburg lies in the middle of what we popularly call Scandinavia. So at that time, there was a perception of Scandinavia Jamaat.
Right.
So the early missionaries used to base themselves in either Copenhagen or here in Gothenburg, as it was in the center for them, so that they could go around to other cities and spread the message of Islam. But now, by the grace of Allah, we have communities all over Sweden, from very up north in Luleå to very south in Malmö.
MashaAllah, yeah, yes. That's very right. And Sarmad said you're based in Gothenburg originally, or?
Well, I'm part of Gothenburg Majlis, but we live in Halmstad, which is just exactly in between Malmö and Gothenburg.
Okay, all right.
But yes, we're part of Gothenburg Majlis.
All right. So you mashallah have an honor to be part of the Gothenburg, the Merkaz here in Sweden, not Malmö Jamaat. I mean, I'm personally from Malmö, so I would like to have him to Malmö, but I guess that is not the case. All right. And if we just move forward to the next subject, we spoke about a little bit how the Jamaat Ahmadiyya spread here in Scandinavia, like Murabbi Sahib said, and I believe since we have a Swedish Ahmadi with us right now, and I'm literally thinking about the moment where Kamal Yusuf Sahib, our first missionary to Scandinavia, he explained that he was actually appointed to Scandinavia by Huzur Hazrat Khalifat al-Masih Sani Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. And I guess he didn't even finished his Shahed degree at Jamia, and he was appointed because there was a Swedish Ahmadi, a young man, who requested Huzur that if you just open a mission house here, then I'll be very happy to embrace Ahmadiyyat. And I guess that was so. It actually, I mean, the history of Islam or Ahmadiyyat in Sweden is like we have the Swedish-born Ahmadis associated with Ahmadiyyat. So I'll just start with you, Sarmad Sahib. How do you feel being an Ahmadi? And
well, it's a great feeling to be part of this Jamaat. Even now, when you see everything that is going on in the world, you feel even more blessed to be part of this blessed Jamaat, and to have Huzur that is guiding us, and also to have our interpretation of the Holy Quran, which is without doubt the best translation and interpretation that there is. And yeah, overall I feel very blessed. Alhamdulillah.
And have you met Khalifat al-Masih a couple of times? You must have.
Yes, I've met him 5 times, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. And was it just the current Caliph, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Since I accepted Ahmadiyyat in 2010.
2010,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, speaking about the love and affection and the barakat that we actually get from Khalifatul Masih. Murabi Sahib, you've been studying there in the Jamia for like 10 years, right? And I mean, I can just imagine when, especially I was speaking with my wife and my mother a couple of times the last week, and my son, he's Waqfa now, and I would wish that every parents would definitely wish that their children go to Jamia and be part of that community, which is probably the most closest to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. So how did you actually felt there, Murabi Sahib?
Yes, the Jamia Ahmadiyya is a blessed institution instituted by the Promised Messiah Islam himself, as he wished that there should be those who would take the place of highly stated scholars within the Jamaat who were passing away at that time. So to be part of this blessed institution, I cannot thank God enough for giving me this chance, and even my parents who always guided me towards this path. But what I would like to say that we as Jamia students in the UK were extremely blessed. We were so near Hazur Anwar, and Hazur Anwar expressed his love for us in different ways. Only the two or three last sermons, Huzur has narrated his feelings about the passing away of two students, Raza Salim Saab and Mazhar Hasan Saab.
That's right.
And the way Huzur explained his affection towards these children, which he called children and dear ones, Aziz, it kind of was uplifting for all of us as students of Jamia, and we were given this new spirit that we should try to serve Ahmadiyya with more fervor. And the way Hazur said that, just I know each Jamia student personally, and I know he knew these two students very well, and he explained that they had these great qualities which he wants to see in all youngsters in Jamaat. So what Hazur has instructed us young missionaries is that we should connect with the young people of Jamaat in the best possible way, and we should guide them, because there are challenges for the viewers who maybe do not aware of the situation in Sweden. But Sweden is a very strict secular country where religion and religious expressions are constantly being asked and criticized. So these youngsters need to have a well acquaintance with their religion, so that they can not only defend but proudly present their religion toward others. And that is what my focus has been during these few years, and I always ask God Almighty for help and Khalifa Waqt for guidance. Even in today's second session, I will speak about the challenges of being an Ahmadi Muslim in a very strict secular society. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Very true, and especially about our two young Ahmadi Jamia students. I mean, there was a very sad demise, and especially for speaking about Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. I mean, for him, it was like one after the other, and he both the Friday sermons, it was like, yeah, we all felt that. Although we all feel we have the special soft corner for all the Murabiyan that we have, but yeah, I mean, after the sermons, it all changed, I guess, for everybody in the Jamaat. That's very true. Sarmad Sahib, coming to you about your, you said that in 2010 you actually came to Ahmadiyyat, but before that you said you were like, you did accepted Islam a couple of years.
Yeah, I've always had a very keen interest for religion, and in 2009 I had the possibility to study the Swedish translation of Holy Quran. And I had plenty of time living in Iceland at that moment.
You're studying there?
Yeah,
okay.
I was studying.
Right.
And it just took a few verses of Holy Quran until I accepted it.
MashaAllah.
This is really what I've been looking for. And I felt that I don't want to engage with other Muslims until I fully know this new religion of mine. So I took 1.5 years studying very, very deeply, daily, about Islam, about Hadith, and the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I started doing namaz or salat by myself. I learned from interviews or from internet. I learned how to do wuzu, for example.
Okay.
So I started doing that, and I just took my bed cover, putting it on the floor, and started doing I learned Surah Fatiha in Swedish. So I just prayed to Allah, please guide me, you know. As I know this is the right path, but I need the knowledge. I need,
exactly.
You know, there is one thing from accepting and one thing, completely different thing of feeling it.
Exactly.
And yeah, in 1.5 years I spent studying until I started feeling that I need company. And I started praying Surah Al-Nas to get in contact with good people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in that time that I met the missionary Sahib in Iceland.
Mashallah.
So after 1.5 years.
Mashallah. So I mean, it was like 1.5 year journey that you did embrace Islam, but you didn't know where to go and get the knowledge and all that. Rabbi Sahib, just a quick thing. I mean, what Sarmad Sahib is saying, I guess part of what Hazrat Masih Maud Islam has explained about the blessings of Jalsa Salana is that all the people, they just gather together, and I mean, so I guess it is the same thing. So how would you see it?
I would like to comment on what he has said. Wonderful, Sarmad Sahib has explained, and as the Prophet Musa Islam prophesied that this Jalsa Salana, many nations would join, and we are seeing that. But other than that, what I would like to stress is that as a young man living in a secular society, Sarmad Sahib actually studied religion. How many of us youngsters are there who study their faith and ask these important questions? And as they study, they implore to God as well to guide them. This is the most wonderful method you can use in spirituality. So we as young Ahmadi Muslims who are born and raised up, we should also ask these critical questions, and at the same time ask God Almighty for guidance. And we will see that this Ahmadiyyat which we have accepted, when we accept it anew, we will find many wonderful aspects of it which we were not aware of before. So this should serve as not only an inspiration in Tabligh but also in our Tarbiyat, that people outside are studying Islam and accepting its beauties, whereas we have been brought up in the, and it is a natural thing that if you are brought up with something, you do not notice it in the same manner. You do not maybe ask those questions which should be asked. But to each question you will find wonderful answers. Actually, the Prophet Musa Islam used to say that we were unaware of many of the treasures of the Holy Quran until in this age. And why were they shown to us? It was because critics of Islam, Orientalists, started to ask these very harsh questions, which were sometimes very disrespectful. But the Prophet Islam which would answer to those questions and say that through these answers, God Almighty has revealed so much knowledge which were unknown to people before. So we should not be afraid of criticism. Rather, it should strengthen our wish to gain deeper knowledge of our faith.
Like, the Holy Quran is forever, and sometimes there are times that you don't understand all the verses, but it gets revealed later on.
That's right. Yeah, I would, speaking about the way you accepted Islam, and you said that you were actually looking for the right path. Just emphasize, if you just tell us a little bit about how you see the similarity between what Sarmad Sahib did, or maybe, I guess, every new Ahmadi, and Hazrat Salman Farsi, that I remember, he was a young child, and he used to, just hate the way his forefathers used to do the worship the idols.
And even in the same way, there has always been this animosity between Persians and Arabs, but still Hazrat Salman Farsi accepted Islam despite of being that. And still in this age, although there is so much propaganda against Islam prevalent, and you will be even amazed if you only read the daily newspaper, you will get a negative picture of Islam, but still there are people who are searching for the truth and they find it.
Right.
So we should actually engage all these new situations which have been created due to the more open society, global village, and we should, as Ahmadi Muslims, be the front bearers in front of this blessed jihad to spread the true message of Islam.
That's right. So yeah, that's very right. I mean, spreading the message, and that is actually, I guess, one of the vital parts of tabligh that Hazrat Masih Maud Islam has emphasized, and that was the reason for him to come again. And I mean, coming back to Jalsa Salana, how we related to it, everything is about Jalsa Salana today, and we are actually relating everything to there. So I'll just take it from that point onwards. You said that you met a missionary in charge in Iceland, and how did it go? Yeah.
From then on, we spent 2 weeks together. He invited me to the home, and I was quite nervous before. I even walked 2 rounds around the neighborhood before walking into the missionary house. And I had no idea what to expect. No idea whatsoever.
Even though you were like praying on your own.
Yeah, but still no contact with Muslims before.
Yeah.
So
it's
I knew the religion, but not
barrier,
the people.
A lot of things. Yeah.
And I mean, I still didn't know what type of Islam that he was representing at that moment.
That's right, yeah.
So I had no idea. I just knew that I had a meeting with him. And after 2 weeks, he showed me the bat sign, the bat formula. And I read it, and I thought that the moral codes that are in the Jamaat, I accept that immediately. And the question about whether I accept Promised Messiah alayhi salam or not, that's a question that I will deal with later on. Because I felt it's better if I accept it now than denying it, and I might lose it. So I thought to myself, okay, I will sign this, and then I will study it hard. Interestingly, as soon as I've signed it, I start to see, it pops up on YouTube, all different kinds of videos, against the Jamaat. So I was really shaken in the beginning. I was thinking like, oh my God, what have I done? And the more I studied the Jamaat, and the more I was in contact with non-Ahmadi Muslims, which we started engaging with, because I joined the missionary sahib to a tabligh stall that we had. The more I realized our interpretation of Holy Quran it is the best, and this interpretation comes from one person. So what the Promised Messiah alayhi salam is saying, that is of course true. And this more and more study just convinced me that he is the one he claims to be. And then reading, for example, the need for Imam, he says, I am that prophet. So how can I argue against that? It's finished. Then I fully accepted it.
MashaAllah, Zabardast. So yeah, that's very good. And from that point onwards, you're like you moved back from Iceland to Sweden, and
while living in Iceland, I got married to one woman from Hamburg Jamaat. And we stayed 1 year together in Iceland, and after that we moved to Sweden together.
Okay, and since then you're living in Halmstad here.
Yeah.
I guess we can just we'll definitely continue this story, and we have a lot to talk about your participation here in Jamaat Sweden, and you're part of Khudam al-Ahmadiyya, and you've been part of actually when Huzur visited recently in May 2016 Sweden, and you were part of Hifazat-e Khas. So I guess I would like to get your feelings and know about that again later.